Hi, everybody. Guess what? It is 6 o'clock somewhere. It's 6 o'clock right here in Los Angeles. And I am here with you live as I am every Thursday at 6. So thank you so much for joining me. Oh, gosh, have I seen you since the 4th of July? I don't think I have. I hope your 4th of July was peaceful. Ours was not. Ours was a little crazy. It was a little bit of mayhem, a lot of fireworks, a lot of sadness for wildlife and pets. But we're over that now. It's a new week, and it has calmed down. So I'm grateful for that. So, what else is new? We're getting all revved up for summer camp next week and the week after. So if you were thinking about summer camp for your kids that is virtual, we are doing a summer tracking camp, and we are doing it via Zoom. And I will be getting the kids their materials in advance so that they can dissect an owl pellet with us and create a tracking box and paint a little fun wooden camp necklace and do some journaling and meet some other kids and just escape some of the doldrums of the quarantine. So if you're interested in the details for those camps, you can find that on our Facebook page and also on our website. And if you want to email me, you can do that too. info@tarangoranch.org. So let's get to business. Why are we here today? What's our subject? What are we getting into? So I thought I would shake it up a little bit. My favorite thing to talk about, you know what that is. That's right. That's what it is. Yeah. Coyotes. I love to talk about coyotes. I love to learn about coyotes. Coyotes are so interesting to me. And so I read books and I go to conferences and I follow Project Coyote, for example, right? These are things that I do because I love coyotes. And like I said, I read, and this is one of my favorite books about coyotes. So if coyotes are interesting to you, or if you want to learn more about their folklore, maybe their natural history, this is a really great combination of those two things. So I really like this book. I was super lucky enough to meet the author at a Project Coyote thing, and he autographed my book. That made me so happy. He's cool. He's a cool guy. So I hope he does not mind me sharing a little bit from his awesome book tonight. So it was really hard, to get through, to decide which pieces I wanted to share with you. But I did find some, and I think what's going to wind up happening is I'm going to have to do this again because I did not get through very much of the book before I had all these Post-its, the excerpts I was going to share. And I was like, okay, this is going to take a long time. So we're going to save some for later. So, I think this is going to be like excerpts from Coyote America part 1. Okay. And then there will be a part 2 and probably a part 3 because there are so many cool bits of this book that I want to share with you. So anyway, Dan Flores, and this is basically, a history of coyotes on the landscape in North America. And there's a picture of our author because that's the cool thing to do is show you who we're talking about. All right. So, and here's the beginning. Not a lot of pictures in this book, but this one is here. American Avatar. Here is a vivid memory. I am on winter break from my university duties, and I am home visiting my parents in Louisiana. We are up early, stirring around in the kitchen in a gray, misty dawn in our hometown near the Black Bayou in the north of the state. My dad knows the paper will already be in the mailbox and asks me to walk out to the end of the driveway to fetch it in. I am in the act of pulling the Shreveport Times out of the box in silvery blue twilight when I hear a rhythmic clatter and the scratching of toenails on the asphalt street. Plastic-wrapped newspaper in hand, I turn toward the commotion and find myself staring into the face of a coyote, which shoots me a quick sidelong glance as it passes by mere feet away, rocking along in that characteristic lope with which coyotes go through the world, close enough to pepper my ankles with dislodged gravel as it digs in to swerve past me. I register hot yellow eyes and something in its mouth. Maybe it's the neighbor's cat, although in the dim light, it looks more like a trio of tall boys dangling from plastic six-pack rings. Open-mouthed, I follow its course down the street when a second coyote appears, weaving through 3 cars parked on the road opposite my parents' home. Pink tongue lolling, this one fixes me with a look that has something of a "been good to know you" wave as it passes. And in another couple of seconds, it is at the corner intersection at the end of the block. There, it pauses for an instant, turns to look back at me, then is gone in a movement I barely discern, like smoke dispersed by a sudden swirl of wind. Coyote number 2 seems empty-handed, and I register the thought and tell my dad back in the kitchen. Those looked like pull-tab beers anyway, so no bottle opener needed. I tell this story not because it is unusual, but for exactly the opposite reason. In 21st century America, likely 100 scenes something like this unfold in towns and cities from coast to coast every morning. Close encounters with coyotes have now become the country's most common large wildlife experience. They happen everywhere, in small towns like the one where I was raised, and in gigantic cities, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Denver, Atlanta, Chicago, now even New York City, the coyote's final frontier. A study of print media from 1998 to 2010 found a whopping 1,214 newspaper and magazine articles dedicated to human coyotes encounters in the United States for those years. And of course, those only included the newsworthy events. Many thousands more like mine in Louisiana occurred without anyone calling a reporter. According to Stan Gert, Chicago's urban coyote guru ecologist, every major city in America now has a coyote management study underway. And we know that we have so many situations like that going on in Los Angeles, and we hear about it on Facebook. Not so much lately because it seems like other news is sort of taking precedence, but I really liked that was the very beginning of this book, and I thought it was a really great segue into the book. Because we've all had that situation where we've looked up and there's a coyote, and if we haven't, we know someone that has, right? All right, further in, we've got an Aztec rendering of Coyote. And the starting point is this. The truth is that coyotes have never been solely wilderness creatures. The news media have given us a false impression that coyotes have no business in places like Los Angeles or Chicago or Manhattan. That for reasons related to either the inviolable nature of modern cities or the coyote's suspect character, coyotes in cities make up a bizarre and inexplicable invasion. Yet the archaeological and historical evidence is undeniable. For the 15,000 years since we humans have been in North America, coyotes have always been capable of living among us. Something about our lifestyle has always drawn coyotes to human camps, villages, and cities. That something is ecology at its simplest, even if it makes us squirm a bit. A coyote's primary prey happens to be our close fellow travelers, the mice and rats that flourish around and among us in profusion. As for fearing us too much to tolerate our presence, coyotes have taken our measure far too perceptively for that. So the urban coyote is not a new thing. By the time the Europeans got to America, coyotes had long since sought out the major Indian cities of Mesoamerica. One of their initial experiments with urban living seems to have been in the Aztec city of Tenochtitlan, on the site that became modern Mexico City. Half a millennium ago, coyotes and city-dwelling Aztecs came to know one another very well. We believe this because of place names within the city. Coyoacan, or Place of the Coyotes, was the name of both a suburb of the Aztec capital and a religious cult devoted to coyotes. 1,000 years later, we still use a form of the original Aztec name for this small American wolf, coyote, pronounced coyote, accent on the first syllable, silent E in their Nahuatl language. And I probably said that wrong. But I just think that information is so interesting. Believing and having evidence to show that the coyote has been urban since ancient Mexico City. That's cool and interesting because it seems like they just popped up, right? All right. And this is one of my favorite quotes, and I've shared this before on Facebook in written form, but I love this. This is in the chapter called, well, this is still the introduction. They're still in the introduction, you guys, right? Okay. Circulating among us now, like ghosts of the continent's ancient past, as if to make us cognizant that we are new and barely real here. Coyotes oddly appear to grasp with those vivid yellow eyes that they function as avatars, stand-ins to help humans see themselves. If so, they have often reflected an edginess back to us. Like us, coyotes are bold, sometimes aggressive, occasionally menacing, edgy. We certainly see that in them and perhaps perceive it in ourselves. No better example of edginess in the human-coyote relationship exists than this. As a general topic of conversation in today's America, coyotes are political. That shouldn't really be surprising on reflection, but coyotes have a remarkable ability to demonstrate just how easily we can find things to disagree about in modern society. That's probably my favorite paragraph in the whole book. Who is Coyote? Coyote is a reflection of us, right? All right. And I've got one last one for you, so we're not going to be doing this all night long, even though I could. All right. This is super cool also. Again, if you just jumped on, we're reading Coyote America. Well, not the whole thing, just a few excerpts. All right. This one has a picture of coyote scat with some berries in it, because as we all know, they are omnivorous, right? And you know I like a book that's got pictures of scat in it. You know that right now. You know I love this book. Like canids, all humans are intensely social, but we developed a unique kind of social life. The anthropological term for the flexibility we show as a social species is the same as the zoological term, fission fusion. Translated, that means that among a rare few species, evolutionary pressures have selected for sociality that allows for unusual flexibility among individuals who can either be gregarious or solitary as conditions warrant. In sociality of this type, individuals cooperate with other members of their species to take on any manner of large endeavors. Most readily, this occurs among closely related individuals, although some anthropologists believe that our next step, cooperation among non-related groups, enabled modern humans to colonize the planet. But species that show fission fusion adaptations also allow for more individualized efforts under other circumstances, a flexibility that can confer tremendous survival and colonizing advantages during disease outbreaks and other intense mortality events. Sound familiar? Despite the myth of the lone wolf, the gray wolf is not a fission fusion carnivore. It evolved as a specialized pack animal to pursue large prey. Its strong pack ties and lack of social flexibility became near fatal flaws among wolves in the modern age, when we learned to use their social instincts to trap and poison them. Their sociality, in fact, enabled us to extirpate wolves in the United States. So, those are some heavy thoughts to think about for your big weekend coming up, and so timely, I think, too. So hopefully tonight you had a minute to think about something a little different in your life and get your mind off of all the crazy. And hopefully you enjoyed hearing from this book as much as I enjoyed sharing from it. And not next time, but in the near future, you can expect more coming from this book because I just can't share it enough. So, and I know that you can get it on Amazon or other booksellers near you if you're interested. And if you are watching this on YouTube right now, please subscribe. We would like to be able to go live on our mobile device so we can do field trips. So help us with that. We would love that. And even if you're not watching on YouTube right now, go to my YouTube channel and subscribe because this kind of fun stuff is coming at you all the time. And Tuesdays at 3, we also do a kids program. So, and the one that's coming up next week has to do with tales from the Pacific Northwest, and it is about the raven. So that'll be super exciting. And again, if you are interested in a virtual summer camp for your kids with the materials delivered to you, check us out on Facebook. We've got 2 weeks of it coming up. So anyway, have a wonderful rest of your night, and thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.